Hey movie buffs, I'm Jack Benner and welcome to my review of The Holdovers. The Holdovers is a new comedy and drama directed by Alexander Payne starring Paul Giamatti. Set in 1970 during Christmas, the setting is at a prep school where Paul Hunnam, played by Paul Giamatti, is a disliked history teacher by the students and faculty. He's forced to look over students who have nowhere to go for the holidays, known as the Holdovers, until he looks after one rebel student at campus. Hearing about this project made me very excited, as not only do I think Alexander Payne is a great director, but he's reuniting with Paul Giamatti since 2004 Sideways, which is an excellent movie that I highly recommend. It is my favorite Alexander Payne film, and other Alexander Payne movies I think are great, like The Descendants and Nebraska. I haven't seen Election nor About Schmidt, both are on my watch list, and I did not see his last movie Downsizing from 2017, heard that it's weakest film as a director, and when the trailer for The Holdovers came out, I thought it was great, and was surprised how old-fashioned it was, with the old studio logo, trailer voiceover, and the freeze frame at the end of the trailer when the title comes up. It was one of my most anticipated movies of the fall, was very excited to see it, and I actually saw The Holdovers at an early screening around the end of October, but I have been a little busy with my job recently, so this is why I'm doing a review now. Happy to say I thought The Holdovers was fantastic, and it's one of my favorite films I have seen this year. Let's start this review with the pros. First of what makes this movie shine is a terrific trio of performances, starting with Paul Giamatti, who I've always loved, and this is one of my favorite roles he's done since Sideways. This role was pitch perfect for Giamatti, playing this pompous, cantankerous, and curmudgeonly professor, nailing both the comedic side of the character, while also nailing the emotional side of the character, with later in the film with his backstory unraveled why he is the way he is. This continues to prove why Paul Giamatti is such a fantastic, gifted, and versatile actor. It's an Oscar-worthy performance, and I thought he was terrific here. And one supporting performance I do want to mention is Davine Joy Randolph. Now, I've been slightly familiar with this actress, showing up here and there. I remember her performance in The Lost City, which I thought was a decent but kind of forgettable action-adventure rom-com. And I also remember she voiced Mama Luna, the cat lady from Puss in Boots 2. But her role in Holdovers showed an interesting side to her talent. She gives a sincere and wonderful supporting performance as the head chef of the school, and her scenes where her character is struggling with grief over her dead husband and son who she lost in Vietnam. And there was one crying scene from her at a Christmas party, and she was fantastic in that scene. She added so much heart and warmth to this movie, and I wouldn't be surprised if she gets an Oscar nomination for Best Supporting Actress. And one more supporting performance to mention is Dominic Sessa. And this is his first big movie after he has a background in theater. And after seeing this movie, what a terrific breakthrough performance from him. I feel like in the wrong hands of the writer, director, or actor, this character would come across as way too bratty, annoying, or insufferable. But they handled his character just right, giving him so much humanity and depth in his performance, and him having troubles with his family life, and his mom wanting to spend time with her new boyfriend over the holidays and doesn't really want to see her son, and his father has died too and he's dealing with abandonment issues. And he's got excellent chemistry with Paul Giamatti. They have great banter with each other, they're back and forth. And I feel like they handled their characters just right, giving so much depth to their performances without them coming across as too annoying or insufferable. And there's one scene at a restaurant where it's just a long take and him giving a monologue. Terrific acting from him and a great debut performance from him, and I'm looking forward to seeing what movie he does next. And if there's something Alexander Payne does an excellent job with The Holdovers, it's capturing the time period and mood and setting of the film excellently. Doing a spot-on job with the look of the early 70s, from the cars, music choices, clothing, and even the look of the film did feel like a film that would come out in like the 70s or 80s. And this movie even opens with an old MPAA logo. This motion picture is rated R, and having old logos from Focus Features and Miramax. And even like how the film looks with the film grain and even parts of the sound did kind of feel a little old-fashioned. Looking back to Nebraska 10 years ago, how that was a black and white movie and had an old Paramount logo, something tells me that Alexander Payne does have a knack for old-fashioned filmmaking that feels natural and organic with the film, that doesn't really feel gimmicky. But most of all, him and screenwriter David Hemmingson tell an interesting and entertaining story. With well-rounded characters, I was emotionally invested watching. Just seeing their ups and downs during the holidays and their struggles made me really invested in watching these characters. And the script containing a great balance of funny and emotional moments. Funny at the right places, but also nails the dramatic moments when it needs to be. And that's another thing I feel like Alexander Payne excels at, knows how to balance funny comedy, but also really great drama at the same time. And I love how this movie focuses on a lot of themes, such as loneliness and dealing with that during the holidays, grief, abandonment, abandonment, or even spending the holidays with people you may hate but grow to like over time. And all those scenes are handled beautifully in such a great and heartfelt film. Sadly, I do have a few minor issues with the film, so I'll get to those right now. First, I do feel like this movie is a bit too long, especially in the third act where I definitely do feel the length and could have been trimmed. It's just trying to find its place in the story of like where exactly is it gonna go, and I do start to feel the length during that point. And lastly, there were a few characters that I'm not entirely sure what their purpose in the film was. I was like, what purpose did you really add to the film again? In conclusion, The Holdovers is an excellent dramedy from Alexander Payne, and it's one of his best since Sideways. A fantastic trio of performances from Paul Giamatti, Dominic Sessa, and Davine Joy Randolph, playing these well-rounded characters along with a great screenplay that balances humor and heart excellently. I would definitely recommend this movie to you if you're a fan of Alexander Payne's work and you're interested in checking out this film, or if you love the movie Sideways and excited to see him reunite with Paul Giamatti. You won't be disappointed here. And if you're hearing a lot of Oscar buzz for this movie, I think it's deserving, and if this looks interesting to you, I highly recommend you check out The Holdovers. And also, since this movie takes place during Christmas, this might be the next Christmas classic. Wouldn't mind watching this next year for Christmas. And now to grade it, I'm going to give The Holdovers 4.5 stars out of 5, an A. I'm excited to watch this movie again. It's one of my favorite films of the year. It is starting to play in more theaters now, so if you do get a chance to see The Holdovers, definitely check it out. And now I do want to talk about my Oscar predictions for this film. I do think it is a lock in a few places for above the line categories. I do think it is a lock for Best Original Screenplay, and I'm curious to see if it has a shot at winning against Past Lives or Barbie, now campaigning an original screenplay. Definitely think Davine Joy Randolph is getting in for a Best Supporting Actress nomination. Could be the frontrunner, we'll see. And since the Academy snubbed Paul Giamatti for Best Actor for Sideways, which pissed me off because he was fantastic in that movie, and that is one acting snub of the 2000s that pisses me off. Paul Giamatti for Sideways? Like, how did that movie get in for picture, director, winning adapted screenplay? Thomas Hayden Church was nominated in supporting actor, Virginia Madsen was nominated in supporting actress, and yet Paul Giamatti was snubbed for Best Actor? Like, seriously? But I am getting the feeling that he does seem to be a lock for a Best Actor nomination, and I can see him winning the Golden Globe for Best Actor in a comedy, so I do think he has a lock for a nomination. And I do think it is a lock for a Best Picture nomination, feel-good, crowd-pleaser movie that will get in, so this seems to be it. And I think it is a great movie that is deserving of a Best Picture nomination. Could it win the Golden Globe for Best Picture, comedy, or musical against Barbie? I'm hearing a lot of great things about Poor Things, so we'll see if it could win there. As for other possibilities, maybe Alexander Payne can sneak in for a Best Director nomination. They did nominate him for Sideways, The Descendants, and he wasn't able to sneak in for Nebraska, so maybe he does have a chance of getting in for Best Director. As for Dominic Sessa and Supporting Actor, I have him like close to my top 5, like 6 or 7. I feel like it is a little too competitive with Robert Downey Jr., Ryan Gosling, Robert De Niro, hearing excellent things about the performances of Mark Ruffalo and Willem Dafoe for Poor Things, with how competitive that category seems to be, and the fact that he's a newcomer, so I don't know if he can get into Supporting Actor, maybe Golden Globe or Critics' Choice, but we'll see how he does this award season. So I'd like to hear from you guys. What do you guys think of The Holdovers if you've seen it? Do you agree, disagree with my review? Or if you haven't seen it, are you looking forward to film or not? Let me know down below. Did you enjoy hearing my thoughts on this movie and want to see more reviews like this in the future? If yes, please hit that like and subscribe button if you're new here, and don't forget that notification bell for my next upload in the future. It really means a lot. And until the next video, I'm Jack Benner, and look forward to another movie review.